Well, there's something else too. The folks who were, Roland DeVoe and a lot of the folks that were involved in this were Christians. They were monks.
Yes.
They were, they were so there was that aspect of it.
Yes.
And then there was the aspect that it took them so long to publish it. There was so much material, and the team was too small, and they wanted to, they didn't want anybody else to get credit for this. They wanted, and it took so long to publish it. And anytime you do things, in isolation and you take too long, people are going to, especially when when you're affiliated with certain religious groups, they're just going to say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy, man." Right? And so that's where it came from. So what are they trying to hide? What are all these Catholics trying to hide? What'd they find? And so, the modern conspiracy theories have got nothing on what was going around, when they were first discovering the Dead Sea Scrolls. They were just, speculating and throwing stuff out there. And what it was there was too many fragments and not enough time and not enough scholars, and they were just not publishing fast enough. And this is why you'll hear scholars up and down jumping, saying, if you don't publish, it's as if you didn't find it. You've got to publish in a reasonable period of time. And that was the thing that plagued the scrolls early on.
And it's not that the scholars were anything other than exceptionally competent as well.
No, they were the best. Right.
They see a couple letters and they go, I know the line that this comes from. I mean, some of the stories, there's pieces on pieces, and you look at them now, you see these pictures, and you're trying to parse through and, now you can use programs like Accordance and look for the letters, which is such a help. But just thinking through the old photos, they're sitting there with a cigarette in one hand and a sandwich in the other on top of the Dead Sea Scrolls that have been cello-taped down onto things that now the conservators are working very hard to restore and repair. But you look at these and you're like, this is the biggest discovery. And just the way it's so casual, they're all hanging out, having a great time. It
just stacks of Gold Star, cases of Gold Star.
Gotta stay hydrated.
I had so much respect, and to this day, for the conservators there in the Israel Museum, for Penina Shore, who just retired, and her staff, who were just basically undoing. And again, it wasn't that it was mistakes. It's just that this was the technology they had at the time.
Practice at their time.
They should have done better.
Yes.
But they didn't. And so now they're cleaning this up and they're trying to restore these. They're trying to digitize them now. Please go visit the Dead Sea Scrolls website online and see this fascinating technology that's being put to use. The research now we can do. And of course, after they were published, all the second generation of scholars got involved, and, there was now Dead Sea Scrolls scholarship, coming out of everywhere.
When we're talking about this gap in publishing as well, you're hearing 1947 for when things start coming out. It's not until 1990, 1991 that kind of unofficially here, images, photographic copies get released by the Huntington Library in 1991, really without permission, because they said, we have these, and that's kind of what blows the door open. And then Tove comes in as the I think they were the chair of the committee at the time, that then guess, yes, we need to put these out. Right. Emmanuel Tove has done so much in trying to push the scholarship forward here, but it was kind of like kicking the door down by a third party group that opened the door up to everybody else.
Let's not forget, it was a Mac Classic. The one that looks like an aquarium, it was with a Mac Classic. And so they took there was this combination of things. It wasn't just enough, we got to get these things out there, but they were able to piece together the photographs. They were putting out the original photographs, and somebody took the photographs and put them all together with a Mac. And so it was the technology that came available. It was the scholars really pressing hard. It was different people involved, and it was some people doing things that they shouldn't and then getting sued for it. But, the cat's out of the bag, and now the scrolls are out there. And it, again, just like where we started, it fundamentally changed the way that we read the Bible, so much so that we publish Bibles differently based on the knowledge that we have gleaned from the Dead Sea Scrolls. And we're still learning. We're still making discoveries from the scrolls that we already have. And people are still out there looking for new things, trying to reinterpret, trying to make new discoveries.